What's good, fam? Is not with Obscure 8. If I haven't told you already personally, Happy New Year. We're all blessed to still be here, man. Still doing what we love doing and still surviving and thriving. To all those who have supported us past and present, thank you. And those who will support us in the future, I thank you in advance. I wanted to start this year off with a tutorial, some behind the scenes on cooking up a soulful type sample. So let's get to it. I got a session pulled up in Reason. As you may or may not know, I use Reason quite heavily to produce these samples. I'm gonna throw my headphones on real quick. We have a sample pack out called Architects Volume 2. The vibes on Architects are soulful vibes, elements of funk, elements of gospel tucked in. These are the same vibes that helped get the Frank Murphy placement. It's a soulful, organic pack. So I have a sample pulled up that didn't make the pack, but I might put it on as like a, version 1.1 or something. So right now I have the vocals pulled up, and I'm gonna just walk through how I would build a sample. I have a lot of elements already, ideas within here already laid down, and I'm gonna just walk through my process a bit. I'm gonna play the sample, the vocals real quick. Just basic background vocals. So those are the background vocals. Real simple. I always start off with the keys. 9 times out of 10, I start off with the keys. And I think the chords for this one, it's real simple chords. We're looking at a B to a C. I'm just gonna play what I already laid down. So a lot of movement in that beginning, and then it just goes into some basic chords in the latter part of it. And then with the bass line, real simple. So the bass line, and that's not exactly what I already had, but I'm gonna play what I have so far. You see how the piano comes in, kind of the velocity changes, and that's a key part of the liveness and realness of creating a soulful sample. You got to think about how each player would play, and it's not just a straight chord hit or a straight note. It's usually some movement to it. Oh yeah, that particular bass came, if you want to know where these things come from, this one came from a Reason Soul School pack. Like I said, live is preferred. And one of my tricks is I would use a VST bass, but then I would play something with the guitar on top of it, just to give it a live element, or alternate between the guitar and the VST bass, live guitar and the VST bass. The piano and bass parts. All right. Don't limit yourself or box yourself in, or give yourself excuses. You know, I'm waiting on the vocalist, I'm waiting on this, I'm waiting on that. I'm the type of person that hates waiting, so I just do it myself a lot of times. I definitely like collaborating, but get the ideas out, man. That's the most important thing. So like I said, background vocals laid. I run everything through a bus. So I would just take all the vocals, put them in a group, and then add my effects. I usually do parallel effects. It just gives me better control over the vocals, like this, for example. You got the Vox group, solo. Just solo this part real quick. See, I have the main vocals on one track right here, and then I have the effects on another. So I can have more. It feels like I can have more control, because if you put all of the effects, you could do it two ways. You could put the effects on the track, and you have them going in series. So you would have your vocals going into the effects and then coming out. But with this approach, you have vocals on one, another track with the dry vocals, and then processed on that other track, so I can blend in the effect as needed. A little bit more control on it. See, dry vocals, and then I push in the vocals with the reverb, and the effects I put on this is just reverb, and then there's some delay and reverb. All stock Reason devices, the Echo and the RV7000. Most of the time I'm using the RV7000 for my reverb. I have an analog spring reverb and a Lexicon outboard reverb that I'm gonna get into using a little bit more, but 9 times out of 10 it's just the stock stuff in Reason. It's just a toy glockenspiel. You know, bells, very simple but effective instrument. Just to give it some realism, the strikes, the air, the room that you're recording, all plays a factor in that realism, and you want to add that to your track if you're going for that type of vibe. And this is the vibe I'm going for, is live, soulful. So those are the bells solo. And you can hear a lot of air and noise in it. But you got to think, recordings of that era had air, they had noise, they had elements of imperfection. So I just left it in there. I could have recorded it in a more quieter setting, but I just decided to leave it in there. All right. Next thing is the guitar. So I use a Fender Strat. I'm using this guitar 100% of the time at the moment. And I try to do as much as possible with this one guitar. And I'm not a guitarist, but like I said before, don't limit yourself. Don't give yourself excuses. Just try. I usually just lay parts over and over, overdub until I get it right. And this particular guitar riff, simple, but just adds, like I said, more realism to the track. So I have 3 clean guitar tracks, and they could have been recorded. It's a chord strum, and it could have been recorded in one pass. But like I said, I'm not a guitarist, so I would record parts that I'm having issues with separately and combine it together as if it's just one part sometimes, just to keep the idea going. And a lot of times at the end I say, hey, I don't need to record this over again, and save myself some time and just let it ride. So I have a clean guitar, and I'm gonna mute that section. Clean guitar going through a spring reverb, VST spring reverb from the Strat. Next part is the organ. I'm going to talk about the organ first. Now the organ with soul samples, you could do so much, to give that emotion, to give that feeling. You could do so much. It's the motion, it's the feeling. And with organs, you could play with the harmonies, the dynamics, the rotary speaker, all types of details within the organ that you can experiment with to give a live feeling. Because you got to think, the organist is moving around. He or she is not playing just a stagnant set of chords. They're but with this, what I laid so far was pretty simple. just to give some light organ elements. It's really just one note. I may add some more at the end, but what I have so far is pretty simple. Simple. And then the strings. The way I do strings two ways. Off the Mellotron, very simple, very limited, add some effects, or I create a whole string section. And I'm gonna do a video on how I create strings or orchestral arrangements or brass sections with VSTs. A whole separate video, because I take a lot of time doing string arrangements. But with this particular sample, I just kept it simple, just to show you what I would use in a simple setting, something to get the idea flowing. Straight from the Mellotron. There's a Mellotron VST I use called Retron, and it's if I'm not mistaken, they're actual Mellotron tapes that they use to build this VST. So you're getting the Mellotron tapes that are actually in the machine. Now the machine, the old ones and the new ones, of course, I feel would have better sound quality. I don't have one, but I'm sure they have better sound quality and impact and feeling. But right now I'm just using this. So I'm gonna play it all together. That's pretty much the basic idea I wanted to show you all today. From there, I would add layers of elements, live instrumentation, transitions, outros, intros, outros, pockets to give it a more live feel. Like I said, I might add this to the Architects 2 pack as like a version 1.1 or something when it's final. But that's pretty much it, man. Knock from Obscure 8, man. Thanks for checking in. If you like content like this, like, subscribe, and comment and share. Thank you, man. Thank you for checking it out. Yep.